That's not going to go down well. Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're back here with another match preview today. Stockport County will take on Wycombe Wanderers in what is the final game of the regular season. Of course, it is away from home as well, of course, at Adams Park. And I'm looking forward to it, although some people would say, does this game really have any weight to it? Is it a game worth going to? In fact, I think the headline on the video is, does this match matter? In my opinion, it does, but for some people it doesn't. Obviously, we know that County, the automatic spots did go last weekend, of course, once Wrexham put Charlton away quite comfortably. That did secure automatic promotion for Wrexham, which will, of course, see them in the Championship next season, and that sort of blew away any hopes of Stockport County clinging on to that second spot on the final day. Therefore, some County fans have decided this game doesn't really matter. They've actually returned tickets to Edgeley Park this week, I believe, basically saying it's not worth it. I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Some people would say, look, fair enough, it's very expensive. What I would say is these people have already bought the tickets, so they had their money to buy the tickets. They've decided not to go to the game now because they don't think it's going to matter. Maybe you could say saving the money for Wembley playoff trips as well going to make extremely expensive, as we fully expect. So whoever we face, it's going to be down south, isn't it? So it's going to be an expensive journey, and many people think the next few weeks we're doing a few trips to to sort of London sort of way. So with Wembley in mind as well, which people are sort of hopeful on. So some people decide to return tickets. I don't really know where I sit on this. So what are your thoughts on it? If you're one of them, was going to go to the game, decide not to last minute. Maybe you're someone who bought tickets thinking after that Lincoln performance, yes, we're going to do it, and obviously not long after, sort of those hopes were put to one side, and obviously realised it is going to be the playoffs. So I want to get people's thoughts on this. What do you think on people returning tickets? I think it's probably going to split people. My initial reaction was I'm not sure about that, but I suppose you've got to look at it, like I say, expensive. A lot of people thinking playoffs. A lot of people thinking we are going to go to Wembley anyway. So realistically, it's two more games that way in the next month. We already know we're in the playoffs, so why bother going to this one? I can kind of see both sides. Like I said, my initial response was not sure about that, but I think you've got to put it into perspective a little bit. And fair enough, each their own. But I just thought I'd get people's sort of views on that. It is interesting. I sort of got tickets beforehand. I'm still going to be going to that game, so there will be a match vlog for that. For that game, for those that you aren't going to the game, if you get my words out, I am looking forward to it. I've never been there before, and I don't think we'll end up facing them in the playoffs as well. Obviously, just having a quick look at the league table, obviously you can see there Birmingham City champions on 108 points with a game to go. Wrexham, of course, in that promotion spot now. They've confirmed promotion with that win over Charlton last Saturday. County very much set for third. Wycombe on level points as well. County need just 1 point, and that will probably pretty much confirm their place third in the table, which is a preferable position for County to be in going into the playoffs. Of course, Charlton as well. They also have a chance, if it was to be a draw and Charlton to win by quite some distance. I think they'd have to score at least 6 goals and hope for County and Wycombe draw if they want to get a second spot. And of course, Leighton Orient still battling with Reading going to the final day. My money would be on Reading, to be honest. But that's just my thoughts. Then we have, of course, a look at the bottom of the table. Pretty much sorted here now, but there is, I suppose, a little bit of a relegation scrap, possibly on the final day, between Burton and Crawley. But I think Burton are pretty much safe now as well, which is good for them. So there we go then. We've shown the league table, of course. Like I said, County are in pole position for third place heading into the final match day. The Hatters need, obviously, just a point. Pretty much, like I say, Charlton will have to win by 6 at least. If we manage to finish third, I think that would be our highest finish in the third tier since finishing runners-up in 96-97. So correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure I've got that one right. Second place finish, of course, resulted in promotion that season. Obviously promotion to what is now the Championship. Question is, can County go all the way and replicate what happened almost 30 years ago? We'll have to wait and see. I'm confident on that. Wycombe, though, have the chance to also finish third, as both teams sit on 84 points. Of course, Wycombe have already achieved their highest ever points tally in a League One season. That came after beating Bolton, I think, 2-0 in mid-April. Wycombe, of course, have lost 2 of their last 5 matches, meaning County are one of only 2 teams left with a shot at promotion this season who haven't lost in any of the last 5. Does that mean anything? I'm not too sure. In fact, though, County have only lost once in our last 12 League One matches. Wycombe, though, of course, put away County quite comfortably, I think it's fair to say, in our last meeting at Edgeley Park earlier in the season. The Chairboys walked away, very comfortably with a 5-0 thrashing over the Hatties, and what felt like a humbling sort of moment, didn't it? We hadn't really had many batterings over the last few seasons. It's been a pretty good time to be a Stockport County fan, and maybe the 4-1 defeat maybe a month or so beforehand to Leighton Orient, I think it was, at Edgeley Park, but we've not had many of them this season. Not had many of them over the last few seasons, to be honest, and that's why it did feel like a little bit of a sort of hit to reality of, okay, well, this could be what League One could have been like. Obviously, since then, we've not really had a defeat like that, and we have actually managed really well in League One, but by many people's standards. But it was County's biggest league defeat since losing 5-0 to Southport in the National League during the 11-12 season. Has also faced some other heavy defeats in the 11-12 season, such as a 6-1 defeat to Alfreton Town and a 7-0 defeat to Grimsby Town. However, all these were away from home, meaning that the final 5-0 defeat to Wycombe earlier this season was County's biggest league defeat at home since 2010-11, where County lost 5-0 to Port Vale just weeks after losing 5-0 to Hereford United. So like I say, that says it all. Not had many defeats or heavy defeats in the last few seasons, certainly in the league anyway. So yeah, hopefully we don't see that again. Like I say, it wasn't a great game by any means. I think we were 3 or 4 down at half time, I think, and I wouldn't have been surprised if sort of many left. I think many did at half time in that game. It was a horrendous. I think it was a midweek game as well. I think it was a Tuesday night, and it just felt like we've been absolutely played off the park here. But I don't see that happening on Saturday. To be honest, I think it's hard to sort of know where we'll be at with Wycombe because of that 5-0 defeat. They've been strong all season. They seem to have fallen off a little bit, maybe the last few months. But are we a better team than Wycombe? It's hard to say, isn't it? Because we can only go off that recent performance, which was a terrible performance. But is that just a blip? Was that just sort of a bad day? A bad day at the office for County? We won't really know till Saturday. But even then, will we really know? Because both teams, or certainly Wycombe, I wouldn't be surprised if both teams played it fairly safe just to try and get that point to secure that place in third place. Obviously, if County do it, they're both on level points, but County would do it on goals difference. Both teams, I think, have scored 69 goals this season in League One, but it's the goals difference, it's the goals conceded, which is the difference between the two teams, of course. Just having a quick look at the sort of league table here. Stockport County have conceded 41 goals in League One this season, whereas Wycombe has scored 42. It's extremely tight. Both teams have got a matching record other than that in League One this season. Both won 24 matches, both drawn 12, and both, of course, lost 9 as well. It's interesting as well, I was looking at Wycombe could actually finish the season with an identical record both home and away. As it stands at the moment, Wycombe have played 23 matches away from home this season with 12 wins, 6 draws and 5 defeats, whereas their sort of home record is as follows: 22 games played, 12 wins, 6 draws, but 4 defeats. So a defeat for them on Saturday would see them have an identical record both home and away across the 46-game League One season, which I thought was interesting to pick up on. Like I say, we know about the threats that Wycombe have to offer, particularly Richard Kone, of course, who is the Chairboys' top goal scorer in the league with 18 league goals this season, making him the joint third highest scorer in the league, along with Wrexham's Sam Smith. Look, we've got to keep an eye on him, that's for sure. I sort of look at it and think, like you say, how much does this game matter? Because we both know that pretty much playoffs, well, we're all guaranteed to play place in the playoffs now, both Wycombe and County, and both teams will be looking at it, and is it about Saturday or is it about the Saturday after for both teams? Because you want to make sure that you put in the preparation to give yourself a chance to get promoted. Wycombe, like I say, they'll be desperate to go up. County, some wouldn't be desperate to go up, but some might be. I think it's a really good opportunity to go up. I know people say, well, let's let's go up next season. Let's go to Wembley. If it doesn't go our way, let's sort of attack League One next season, be better, and go up then. But for me, like I've always said, that opportunity might not come. Sometimes you ride the waves you're on through momentum. I think we've had a lot of momentum behind us, and that's why we've been able to go up the leagues, as quickly as we have done. And I think, like I say, if you look at it and go, oh, well, don't worry, we'll do it next season, that next season might not come, and that is my worry. Some people say as well about players, managers potentially going. I think going up doesn't harm your chances of keeping hold of them, to be honest. So it's an interesting conversation. It's one we can probably have a little bit more in depth on Sunday evening, actually, as I think we're planning to do a live stream from 7 o'clock on Sunday night to discuss everything county. We can obviously go over the sort of Wycombe game as well from then, and also talk a little bit about the playoffs, by which point we'll know who we're facing in the playoffs as well. So do tune into that one on Sunday evening on this channel. If you're interested in that, get your thoughts in, live comments in, and we'll try and respond to it. I think Adam will be joining us for that show as well. So very much looking forward to that. And yeah, I think a lot of the conversation will be about sort of end the season now, looking at the playoffs. But we still have this game in front of us, and I still think it's a good opportunity to go. It's still an away game, one I'm very much looking forward to. And I think it's a good opportunity to keep the players' fitness ticking as well, and also work out a little bit about where to play some of these players going into the playoffs. Like I say, it's a week away from this match to the first leg. Assuming we get that third spot as well, it will be the 12:30 kickoff, I think, on the Saturday, the 10th. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really exciting time to be a county fan. I think the playoffs is going to be absolutely fantastic. We do have to get over the fact that we'll be travelling down south either way. So the next 2 or 3 weeks we're going to be down south, hopefully 3 times. And like I say, the conversation will be about: do you want to go down south for 12:30 kickoff? Do you want to go down south for 7:45 kickoff? My preference would be 12:30. Let's get up early, get it out of the way, and come back at a reasonable time. And of course, to do that, we have to finish third. So there is still something to this game, I think, on Saturday. I'm trying to convince myself a little bit here as well, I think. But yeah, I am looking forward to it in all seriousness. I'm looking forward to seeing the team at Challoner Picks as well. But yeah, like I say, I think a lot of people now will be looking past this game. They will be looking at it, thinking about sort of end of season, playoffs, how's it going to go? Almost some people will be thinking about recruitment in the summer as well. I know I'm starting to think about that a little bit, but obviously it is dependent on what league we're actually in. But I think it's interesting to think about, we get to that point in the season, we are going to start thinking about what kind of positions do we need to fill, what kind of players should we be looking to bring in, and how much does promotion change that? Because it's evident that we're going to have a little bit of a clear out. There's some players which are quite injury prone, those players need moving on. But how do we go about making those changes? And I think that is something that people will be starting to think about. As I say, we will discuss this a little bit more on the show at 7 o'clock on Sunday, so do join us for that one. But like I say, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to the team to see what Challoner goes with. Obviously, we've had a little bit of a shake-up again in recent weeks. It was looking like a 4-4-2 pretty much every week, sort of a few games ago, but now it seems to have changed a little bit again. Injuries affecting that. And I think we'll see a 3-4-3. So this is the team that I think we'll go with. I think it'll be, of course, Corey Adai in goal, Hills, Horsfall, and Ethan Pye as a back three, with Fevrier and Rydell as the sort of wing backs, Norwood and Moxon as the 2 central midfielders, Collar almost playing on the right, that sort of right wing position, but we'll sort of drift in at times as well. I think he'll go with Tanto on the left, of course, and I think he'll go with Cal Wootton up top. Obviously, he did go with Anderson to start last week, and some people would say that didn't really work out. I'd sort of hold the opinion slightly differently. I thought County started that game against Lincoln quite well, actually. It was a fairly quick start to a game. We had a few chances early on. We didn't take those, and we were probably punished for that. But I don't think it was actually a bad start, and I don't think Anderson was necessarily at fault for the reason why County didn't get going in that first half. I actually think if we kept him on, once Fevrier came on, I think he could have been involved in the action as well, getting a goal himself. But look, I think the conversation with Wootton, it's clear my stance on it. I'm not 100% his biggest fan. I try and look to see what he does, and I'm not seeing what other people say, and that's fine. It's all about opinion. But I just don't see a play there, which I don't even think he brings players in as well as, let's say, like Norwood, those long diagonals to Fevrier. That's more effective than what I've seen of Wootton of late. And I think, to be fair, he was unlucky with that header as well at Lincoln. I thought he'd gone in, I was celebrating, so he was very unlucky with that. He scores that, which he probably should have done, and that's not his fault. It was just terrible unluck. I'm sure that went over the line, but it mustn't have done. He sort of scores that. It's an extra goal to his name. So he's unlucky. And he has played a part this season. Look, he's played, the second most minutes, if not the most minutes now for County this season. And if County go up, he's played a part in that. And it's not that I don't think he's a good player. I just don't think he should be the main man. I think that's always been my point. But obviously he's played his part. He's scored goals. He's got those goal involvements behind him as well. I think it's still 18 goal involvements in League One this season. But that's kind of my point. It's a little bit like, well, Louis Barry said, I think he's got 17 goal involvements this season in League One, and he's been gone 6 months. So we don't have a lot of players which you can hang your hat on and go, there's a goal scorer, there's a goal, sort of player that's going to be top of the stats for that. So maybe that's a little bit of my frustration this season, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if we go up, and that's a conversation probably to have in the summer. I'd be interested to see what sort of business we need to do in the sort of front line in the summer. What do people think we need to strengthen in? Do people think we actually need to strengthen, sort of a replacement or someone instead or alongside Wootton in the summer? That's interesting, because some people might not even think that's the case. I think for me, Fevrier is going to have a huge say in this game. And I'm sort of interested to see how he does, if he does start, albeit in an uncomfortable position for him as a wing back. Dave Chalmers spoke a little bit, I think, on sort of great BBC Manchester, I think it was, post match, and he was sort of talking about the frustration in the sense he's had with Fevrier this season, that he can come on off the bench and have an impact, but he doesn't seem to have that from the get go. I would be very interested to see if he can start to have that in his game, because there's no doubt about it. When he comes on off the bench, he has an instant impact. It feels like a lot of the time you can see what he's trying to do. And even in the games where he doesn't necessarily get a goal or assist, even in games where we don't necessarily get manage to overturn the result, you can see glimpses in his game where you can see what he's trying to do. And I think from sort of minute one of seeing him this season, I think it was that moment. I think he came off the bench first game of the season at Cambridge. I think it was the cross for Kyle Wootton, actually, for the second goal at the beginning of the season. You could see it then. There's that quality there. That's he's not afraid. He wants to take players on, and he looks like a brilliant player. And I want to see more of him, but I think Chalner's right. We probably do need to see a little bit more consistency from Fevrier. But I do think playing him in a better position, a more natural position for him going forward, would help. And I think to do that, we do need to have a right back behind him and let him play a little bit more sort of attacking, sort of being able to show his attacking threat rather than having to worry about defending, because he can do it at times depending on who he's up against. But there's no doubt about it, when he's playing on that right wing position with a full back behind him, where he's not having to think about what's going on behind him, he can cause a lot of threats for defences, and he could be a very exciting player to watch on Saturday as well. And of course, playoffs, Diamond's back for that second leg. When you've got those two on either side and you've got Norwood pinging balls left, right and centre, I think that's going to cause a lot of problems for teams, and especially if you manage to get to Wembley as well on that big pitch. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this team can take shape over the next few games. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what changes happen in the summer, as I am expecting us to hopefully go up into the Championship and get that job done at Wembley. So look, we've got to beat Wycombe, or we don't have to, but I'd like to see us go and beat Wycombe first. It's always good to go into the playoffs with a bit of sort of momentum. But as I say, a point would do it. I don't really want to see us lose. I don't think that's a great way to go into the playoffs. We want to go into it feeling confident, and we take on whoever we have to come up against in the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think it will be Wycombe now. I think it's more likely to be a Charlton. Actually, it would be a Reading, wouldn't it? I think Reading will make the playoffs, so I think we'll face Reading. That could be an interesting one, because we've beaten them twice already this season, quite comfortably in both games. Many would say, well, we'll go and beat them quite comfortably for a third game. That might not be the case, because they might have learnt from their first and second lesson against us now. That could be very interesting. But Leyton Orient wouldn't want to face them really either, because they smacked us 4-1 at Edgeley Park. And then, of course, we did win at the beginning of February, late January, but it wasn't plain sailing. It was a narrow scoreline, just the one goal, I think, from Kyle Wootton. So I would prefer Reading, but look, you've got to beat the best if you want to go up. And I'm not particularly that fearful of anyone, maybe Charlton, if I'm being honest. I think Charlton are a really awkward team. Whenever I've seen them play, they don't look like a brilliant football team, but they look like a team that knows how to stop other teams from playing. They like to time waste quite a bit. They're quite good at breaking up play for the opposition and just making it very, very difficult. That's what I see when I've seen Charlton. Granted, I've not watched loads of them this season, but from what I have seen of them, and especially in both the games that against County, they look like a very difficult team. They look like the one team that has managed to find a way in both games to stop County, which many haven't managed to do. So that would be the one team, if I had to pick, I would be a little bit worried of, especially in a final as well, where it's only one game. That would be the team I wouldn't want to face. But yeah, I'm confident whoever gets put in front of us, I'm confident we can do do the job over both legs in the semis. And then of course, a day out at Wembley, anything can happen, and anyone could beat anyone in a one-off game, which is, I suppose, the worry, because I think we probably actually are the best team in the playoffs. But we don't necessarily have to be that. I think we're probably a better team than Carlisle. I don't think it showed in the final necessarily, because they managed to get over the line and it was extremely tight. But I think County were a better team than Carlisle that season, but they got over the line because in a sort of one-off game, anyone can win it, and I think that's almost where a little bit of worry comes in. I'm confident that County will get promoted. I'm confident they'll win the playoffs, but that confidence comes from me thinking that we're the best team, and the best team doesn't necessarily always win in the playoffs. So I am confident now. I've got to say that I do think we'll be in the Championship next season. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to the summer as well. Look, let's face it. I'm excited to see what kind of players we bring in. But, got to remind myself, bring it back. There's still a long way to go. There's 3 or 4 weeks left of the season. We've got this game now in front of us. And I expect County to put on a decent performance. I do expect us to concede first, though, because that is something we've done in the last few weeks. I expect that to remain the same. But I think County will turn it around like we've also managed to find a way to do in recent times. And I think County will come away with a 2-1 win. So that's my thoughts on Stockport against Wycombe. What are your thoughts in the comment section below? As always, don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed it. Do subscribe if you are new. And don't forget, we are going live at 7 o'clock on Sunday evening as well. So tune in for that one. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Match vlog Saturday evening as well. So keep your eyes out for that one. And thanks for watching.